Hello. Very good afternoon to each one of you. Friends, we'll be starting with the panel discussion. The panel discussion is on a very, very pertinent topic, DPDP Act, Digital Personal Data Protection Act. Long back there was a series, when this concept of series started in India, TVF Features come up with a series. And in that series, the main actor mentioned once that privacy in the time of internet is a myth. And to counter this myth, I think this act has been promulgated and has been brought in by the government of India. To discuss further, we have two eminent panelists. I would request Mr. KP Narayanan sir to kindly come up on the dais. I also request CA Vijay Srinivas sir to kindly come up on the dais. Friends, welcome them with a huge round of applause. We also have CA Vivek Agarwal, who will be moderating this session. I'll take a while to introduce all the three panelists and our moderators. I'll start with CA Vivek Agarwal, a fellow chartered accountant, fellow company secretary with advanced qualification including IFRS, DISA certification in forensic audit and Ind AS. His detailed profile is displayed over there. Welcome Vivek ji to this AI Summit. We have Mr. KP Narayanan, widely admired for his expertise in building iconic brands, bringing over 3 decades of distinguished experience across FMCG, telecom, devices, beverages industries, and MBA graduate from IMT Ghaziabad. KP sir, welcome to AI Summit. His detailed profile is over there. And we have CA Vijay Srinivasan sir. He's from Hyderabad and a fellow chartered accountant with over 24 years of professional experience and holds postgraduate degree in commerce and law. He's a partner at C. Ramachandram and Company and is additionally qualified as a certified information system auditor, certified fraud examiner, certified in cyber security, and registered as insolvency professional with IBBI. We welcome you, Vijay sir. I take the pleasure to felicitate and welcome each one of you. Over to the moderator, CA Vivek Agarwal.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. So we are here to discuss a very important act, DPDP Act. How many of you have heard about it? No one? 2 of them. Those who have heard, they are at the back. And those who are here to learn, they are in front. Great. So friends, we are chartered accountant. We are trained to safeguard the money, the records, and the trust of the client. But today, there's a new asset, and that is data. I hope we all feel data is an asset. As rightly said, data is also the next oil. And let's start with a small story. Imagine a CA firm storing client data like cash in an open drawer. For years, nothing goes wrong, but one day, the cash is gone. So, it's a fraud? No. It's a theft? Yes. But more than that, it is the trust of the client which is there. So like that, the data which is there in your office, the data which is there with your client, the data which you are processing of your client, if any of your team members, if you yourself by mistake share to someone else, the trust of the client takes a hit. And that is why the DPDP Act has come. It was got the president assent in 2023, but why it is more relevant today? Last month in November, the rules were made notified, and within 18 months, everyone has to follow it. Anyone, what is the penalty, maximum penalty for non-compliance or data leakage due to DPDP? Because क्या होता penalty सोचते हैं तो फिर we have a focus that we have to listen properly. Maximum penalty what can be under DPDP Act? 250 crores. I don't remember, apart from insider trading also, it is the benefit which you have arrived from insider trading. I don't know any other act having such penalty, and it's applicable for everyone. So what happens? We have a question in mind. What data is to be required or needed? The data which you are taking, why you are taking? Because we have a tendency, boss, whatever you are getting, just take it. You don't require the email address, we'll take the email address. We don't require the phone number, we'll take the phone number. We don't require the date of birth, we only require the month, we'll take the year, we'll take the date of birth. So, the DPDP Act says, why did you collect the data? Why it is required? Was it truly required? What was the reason for collecting the data? That is an important question. And most importantly, how did you protect the data? Is it like the cash which was kept in the open door? Or you have the proper logical access control, physical access control way back to your CA final days? Or maybe your DISA days? So that is DPDP Act for you all, friends. And thinking of 250 crores, many of us can have a sleepless nights. Vivek, what sort of data can come in? If by mistake you have given your client, suppose you are doing a bank audit. You are doing bank audit. In bank audit, you have the data of the customers, all the data. Just think by mistake that data is leaked. What happens? You are doing audit documentation, how you are keeping the audit documentation. And leave alone that. The practice of GST, the practice of income tax has taken a back foot. We all are here to discuss about AI. And I feel DPDP Act is also an important area which can give a big practice for we as chartered accountant. It can be a great area or scope of work for we all. How many of you feel so? DPDP can be a practice area? No one? Only our vice chairman feels so, and under his chairmanship, maybe next year he will make us all also feel it. So DPDP Act is actually a great area of practice, and thankful to AI in ICAI for having this session in the main session about DPDP Act. And we have with us two personalities. On my right, we have Mr. KP Narayanan, who is leading a big SaaS-based company, and he's having in-depth understanding of how this act will affect them and us. And on right, we have Mr. Vijay Srinivasan from Bangalore, who will be there as a person explaining us about our logical access control, physical access control, which we have learned way back in our DISA or CA file days. There was something called MICS or ISCA, last 10 years, 5 years, who has passed 15 years. So as I discussed, in August 23, DPDP Act came into picture, and the rules were notified now. And by May 2027, the complete compliance has to be done within 18 months. So basic of DPDP Act is clear. Let's start this discussion with our great panelists who are here. And I will have the simple, straight question to Vijay sir, who is on my left, but who is always right. So, Vijay sir, from a practitioner's standpoint, how do you see the role of chartered accountant evolving under DPDP Act? Specifically, how should a CA evaluate whether they are functioning as a data fiduciary versus a data processor? For example, when they are handling the payroll data, doing a payroll audit, audit evidence, or advisory deliverables. So could you share practical scenario highlighting the risks such as using third-party tools like Camp Scanner, our own favorite I Love PDF? So how DPDP Act comes when you go and love PDF in I Love PDF? Over to Vijay sir.
Thank you, Vivek ji, and thank you EIRC for this particular beautifully organized session with the support of AI. So before we address this question, let's give a little brief into this particular DPDP, because term is repetitive, but what exactly is about this? Let's understand that it deals with any personal data of any individual in a digital form, first thing. Okay, so if it is in digital form, and we all agree that none of the data is in physical form nowadays, everything is digital. Otherwise, we will not be able to do audit. First aspect is personal data in a digital form. Now, second aspect, there are couple of terms which we need to understand as a chartered accountant, like 3+1 kind of terms. The three basic terms is the data principal, that means to whom this particular data relates to, the owner of the data. Like I am Vijay Srinivas, the name Vijay Srinivas belongs to me. Okay, so every individual is considered to be data principal in a way when it is getting processed through by any other entity. So any other entity which requests the data to do something, I want to book a flight, Air India or Indigo is asking my details. So that becomes the data fiduciary, the one which is asking the data for processing. The mode through which it is processing on its own, no issues. But if it is taking the help of someone else to process the data, they might be having some software to enter the data. The software becomes a data processor. So these three roles you need to understand. What is +1 is the data fiduciary, if he is handling more sensitive data, more like banks, insurance, hospitals and all, they will be called as a significant data fiduciaries. Now they have an additional kind of responsibilities. Now why all this act is pretty simple question they are asking. Why you are asking the personal data, for what purpose? Okay, why you need the data? Okay, what you are doing with the data? After completing the task, why you are having the data still with you? Let's say for example in our practice, we would have filed the assessment year 2015-16 return. The client might be there or may not be there. A regulatory requirement of 10 years is also passed. Why you are still holding his data with you? That's the question what this act is asking. Pretty simple question. Now if in case you are complying with this any three, you are asking the data, you want it for processing, and you want to retain it for some reasons, then you have to follow the procedures, as simple as such. Okay. Now in this way, as a chartered accountant, I'll be into three different roles. My own data, where I'll be sharing for in a personal capacity, I'll become data principal. I am filing income tax returns of an individual who is directly coming to me. I will become data fiduciary because he is the data principal, I am accepting his data. I am doing audit of a company where company has provided the information including payroll, vendors, debtors, where it has personal data of various other people. I'll become a data processor. Data fiduciary will be your client. Data principals will be the staff, vendors, debtors. Understood the ecosystem? This is more important for us to understand the act, to understand the ecosystem. Now as a chartered accountant, I'll be playing three roles, leaving apart individually two roles mainly. If I'm directly doing service to one individual, I'm data fiduciary. If I'm doing audit to a company, I'll become data processor because the information is being passed on to me by the client who is a data fiduciary. Okay? So this is what the roles of this thing. Now addressing the second aspect, let's take our practice where we get the data from the client, we feed into Excel, or we have Tally, which we open the backup given by him. The Tally also has a backup sitting in Amazon web server or some remote. Now, whenever you are taking with this particular act, list down whether you are in a role of data fiduciary, first of all. Second, if you are in a role of data processor, you are not alone. You are taking Tally. Tally is a data processor again. Tally's data sitting in cloud. Cloud becomes data processor. So you might be handling with multiple data processors by yourself. You need to list down, then you think about the act, which provision to be taken care in what way. So first role establishment is very important, and that's where the first question with regard to the different roles what we will be playing And more roles will be as a data fiduciary, especially those complying with the income tax returns individual. But those into audit and all, he'll be more of a data processor because he'll get other data also. Okay, so we'll speak about later on once situation comes. This is what the fairly about the entire.
Thanks a lot. So we have discussed the roles as data fiduciary, data processor, and your data principal. And friends, these words are very important because, as rightly said by Vijay sir, we play all the three roles as a chartered accountant. So it becomes very important, and when we talk of data processor, whether it's any accounting package, any SaaS-based software, or AI tools which we all are using. So let's understand from Narayanan sir, from the vintage point in software industry, how does DPDP Act reshape AI-driven accounting SaaS platform in India? Because we would like to understand what fundamental design changes or governance principle does it enforce. Over to Narayanan sir.
So thank you, Vivek, for that question first to you. And I thank ICAI and the entire team of EIRC for inviting me to be a panelist and giving this as an opportunity. I have a disclaimer. Just because I sit on the right-hand side of Vivek doesn't mean that I am always right. I mean, I am sandwiched between two legends. One is Mayur Agarwal and other Vivek Agarwal only? Okay, two Agarwals. Agarwal is Chennai. If you come, it's always a sweet shop will be always named as Agarwal. See, this, I am not a technical expert to talk about DPDP as he was claiming. But at one point when Mayur called me and asked me to talk about the DPDP Act, so then I felt, yes, this is need of the hour. I cannot just restrict myself to only sales and distribution, but explore things like this. Otherwise, managing 600, 700 chartered accountant is very, very difficult because one chartered accountant, how it is difficult to clear the examination, you know. So imagine 600 such legends and you are handling them, managing them. It's not easy. So whatever I am going to talk is not from the CA perspective, not from the SaaS organization's perspective, how we will deal. First, we have to understand what is privacy and data security and data privacy. Then you understand that first and then get into questions. Like you should ask, there are a lot of avenues or channels where from you can have this knowledge. 4 or 5 years back, I have got an opportunity to relocate to Dubai. So I went and asked my wife, I have an opportunity to relocate to Dubai, and just contemplating, should I continue here or shift to Dubai? So my wife's immediate answer was, no, you are already moving towards the fag end of your retirement, so you have to make some money, so you can go. So I said, yes. Then the next question was, how will you manage if you go there? I said, I have my schoolmate. And she asked, he or she? I said, she. Then she was thinking, okay, let me also come with you. So I will put my children in the hostel and then come. Here then I was confused. Whose data and privacy? Data I forget. Whose privacy is compromised? My wife's privacy or my privacy? So these are all privacy without data. So now when it comes to that, if you ask me a company like us, for us, the DPDP Act is just a reinforcement of the practices that we already do in our organization. I have been working with CA fraternity for almost 9 or 10 years now, moving on to my 10th year. There are a lot of things which I observed in many chartered accountancy right from how this user is assigned and how this data is stored. Data is stored in cloud or data is stored in my computer, and who has got accessible to this computer, who all have got accessible to the access to this computer. I have even seen in the password is created in a sticky note and paste it on the monitor. So this is the kind of security importance we are giving. And you all must have taken home loan or personal loan, right? CS doesn't require that, because you will have enough cash with you. That's what my understanding is. But still, we don't read the terms and conditions properly. You just tick on that and then submit. So, jo hoga dekha jayega. So that is what we see. But in our organization, what we do, when we are already, as I said, it's a reinforcement of what we do in our organization, and we don't sell the data. And we don't run our business with ads. So we don't do that. We restrict these two because these can be a possible leakage can happen here. Then we also purpose our limitation. What kind of data we need to collect? Should I collect every data the customer is willing to provide? That I don't require. I have to limit the purpose, and limit is what is required. And the second thing is, before you collect any data from anyone, and in your profession it is very, very critical, from the client, what kind of data you are collecting from them, and also have you taken consent from them that where and all you are going to use this data, and are you collecting only the relevant information that is required for your business. It is not like that, like I was talking during the lunch with someone was saying that you collect all the data, like your Aadhaar card, wife's Aadhaar card, children's Aadhaar card, telephone number, this, that, PAN card, not required. So limit your purpose of the data that you collect. And that has to start from, in fact, it is very, very mandatory for the CA profession that right from now, you should be very clear enough to what kind of data that you are collecting from your customer. So this is about what I wanted to say. And accountability matters, and you should check with the service provider, any SaaS company for that matter. There are about 33,000 SaaS companies in the world. You have to be very, very clear. It is not just collecting the data. You should also check who is going to be the accountable for that, and for what purpose they are collecting the data. Yes, that's from my side.
Thanks, Nandan sir, for taking us to Dubai. And I don't know whether any one of us will get that offer. Then we'll ask our wife or not. But very rightly said, many a time what happens, you are talking about data. Just think, as a chartered accountant, sometimes it happens that the client asks, sir, I have got this 2 kg of gold, please keep for us. Sorry, we will not keep it, it's risky, it may get lost, there can be other repercussion. But on the same time, the complete data of the client, the tally book, the complete accounting details, information is lying with us. So it becomes very difficult to understand why we are keeping that data, how long we should keep that data. I remember 3 days back going to a newsletter, I wanted to download the PDF, and there was a disclosure. We are only taking your data to make sure you are a human being so that you can download this. We are not storing your data. For the first time I was shocked, because whenever you take we download any PDF of any newsletter or anything, we feel our data is there, now every month we'll get a newsletter. But now they are disclosing that they are not safeguarding your data, they are not storing that data. So the world is changing with this DPDP Act. And with this, we are here for 2 days discussing AI and how AI is helping people like us. And when AI comes into mind, we have a very important question for Vijay sir. From a compliance perspective, how can CA use AI as a one-time or repeatable exercise to build internal DPDP readiness? For example, through developing local tools, redaction tools, or controlled data pipeline that prevents accidental processing of personal data. So till yesterday, we were using the AI for processing the data. Now, how can I use AI to prevent the data, to mask the data, not to upload client data on ChatGPT and say, please give me the answer, but how to redact the data, how to remove the numbers, how to mask that data and process the data without informing any LLM model that whose data it is, what data it is. So over to Vijay sir.
Yeah, if I answer it in a right way, probably you will be, for the next session, we will be moving out of this hall to attend the Vivek sir's session, because my answer is somewhere lying in that particular session, because he's talking about vibe coding. Okay, developing your own tools. So the question, when you are using AI for a one time, like say for example, you might have your own templates for auditing, for NOCs, you'll have your own templates, is it not? Similarly, for data protection, we need to have certain kind of documentation templates, first thing, which can be taken from AI with a help that it can correlate with the provisions of DPDP and accordingly draft the required templates for you, one thing. Second thing, whenever you are, let's say I love PDF, people use I love PDF to compress the files, to resize the files. Maybe if you ask ChatGPT to identify a way where you can reduce that within your system through Python coding and all, you don't need to learn, it will do. It's an assistant which will help you right from A to Z. Maybe if not you are article student, you are young, passionate enough, take the help so that you find out some tool which is in your own system, wherein you are not going to third party, and everything you are working in your own office, so you are eliminating the data processor role also. So try to work out some kind of those things by using AI for these 2 days learning what you carry. Say if you can invest time on this ChatGPT and all. By the way, I'm not sure how many of you are using ChatGPT. ChatGPT Go is free for next 1 year. That means you have good capabilities available free. So make that use before this. DPDP is also 1 year for the consent manager to be set up, November, and then board by May 2027. So take that opportunity to come up with some small tools which you can take care of masking the data. Like say if I give an ITR to this particular tool, which we are using in our office, created by our own article student, wherever names, date of birth, emails are there, it immediately masks and generates a separate PDF file. Now I can confidently upload to AI for doing any kind of analysis. So you just need to work out these kind of methodologies. And I said, probably if you can attend the Vivek session, not to empty this hall, the next which is about vibe coding, you might pretty much get an idea about how to tackle it and all. Yeah.
Thanks, Vijay. So actually, you don't have to do anything like in vibe coding, what we say. You can have a basic HTML in your laptop itself, and you don't have to go to any website to merging text or merging files and anything. Anyhow, a great point, like with AI, as a DPDP tool which we can create with AI is actually there. And we are having various redact tools from Python, just masking your details like your PAN card number, name, etc., and easily uploading to any of the LLM model. And sir rightly said that Go is free, Perplexity is coming free, and Gemini is free. Why they are free? Because they want your data for next 18 months. And after 18 months, I don't know whether there will be a data processor. I suppose there will be a data processor, and how they will use that data. There will be onus on them also as a data processor if they want to work in India. And right to be forgotten, right to delete, and all that. If I have given some data to ChatGPT or Gemini, how they will delete it or give me a right to delete, it's very difficult, because still I feel incognito mode is a myth. It's not there. They are training their data, and maybe 18 months of Gemini is free because of that. I don't know. So the next question to Nayanand sir, and a very pertinent question again in industry which is there. Section 8 of DPDP Act emphasizes reasonable safeguard. When I say reasonable safeguard, it comes from again a word called reasonable assurance, which we as a chartered accountant give when we are doing an audit. So DPDP Act emphasizes that you have the reasonable safeguard and deep accountability. So how do modern software platforms build accountability in their culture and architecture? It is more of a mindset shift or a technical implementation. Already said by sir that it's a reinforcement of privacy which was there, and again a reinforcement is happening. So let's understand more about it from sir.
Just to clarify, the reinforcement I was talking about, for a SaaS company like us or for Zoho, the DPDP Act is just a reinforcement of the law which is coming in, because we are already following it. And coming back to your compliance part, And there are a couple of things which I would like to talk about. Accountability beyond compliance, right? One is that as a service provider, I am a service provider and you all trust us and you share your data, your customers' data with us. Now, am I giving a role-based access to personally identifiable information? If you have provided a personally identifiable information, then who all have given the access? That is the first point we should be very careful about. And for access to sensitive data, like your Aadhaar card, your bank account details, or PAN card, or any other IDs for that matter, all these things who are handling, who are going to handle. See, for Zoho, this entire data is stored in our own data centers only. We are not hiring data centers outside. In India, we have 2 data centers, one in Mumbai and one in Chennai. And all these data are stored there only. And we follow something called transnational localism. That we have got 18 countries, we have got 18 data centers. So it's all within that country only, and the data is not shared outside the country. So tomorrow in India, we have this outsourcing opportunity coming in. No, we take the business globally. So it should not happen that if any country, to any country, the government is restricting us to export the data or share the data outside. So are we proactively prepared or ready to accept that? So it should not be reactive, it has to be proactive. That is something which you should check with every service provider. So when you subscribe for some application or want to, or you have decided to work with some company. So this is what my advice would be. And controlled exports, which I was talking about, and you should have given the access to the customer also. At any time the data can be edited, deleted, all those things. That access also you have to give. So these are all the basic things which will give more accountability to the service provider and the employees I am talking about working for that organization. So this has to be taken care of.
Thanks a lot, Mahendran sir, and rightly said. On a lighter note, most of the SME practice have their data in their computer itself. They don't have a data server also. So we are more localized in that manner. But COVID-19 has acted as a catalyst for we all adapting the servers and taking the online backups, going for the maybe Office 365 and taking that OneDrive or Google Drive. So Vijay sir, like whenever we are talking to a vendor, what are the things pertaining to DPDP Act which we should question them? Like given that the CA firm interact with multiple vendors, the cloud drives, the workflow platforms, the LLMs and the AIs which are there. So how should a CA firm structure its data processing agreements or vendor due diligence under the DPDP Act? Because you see, I was working with one of the large PSU insurance company doing the IFC implementation. The first thing they ask, how you will keep our data, what amount of data you will keep, and then how you will delete that data after the assignment is over. So what sort of agreements we are giving to our clients, what sort of paper we are signing with our clients, and back to back what sort of documents or agreement we are having with our vendors. This becomes very important as a CA practitioners, and mostly those who are doing the bank audits also.
So let's first understand that we are dealing with a digital ecosystem. DPDP is digital ecosystem. Digital Protection Board of India is also a digital office, more than a physical office. It's completely digital ecosystem. Let's say, for example, how comfortable you are in using WhatsApp, in acknowledging with a thumbs up and all. It's going to be similar kind of thing. It's not like we are going to file some returns and kind of thing. It's completely digital. There will be a platform driven. But coming to the question in terms of when you are dealing with larger kind of data and all, I'll share, might be technical, sounding technical for you, but kindly make a note of this. 3 terminologies. One is anonymization, one is pseudonymization, third one is tokenization. Very important for us as an auditor to deal with. This is going to be future. Anonymization is something wherein you accept only that what is required. Let's say, for example, you are trying to file do the payroll services. You don't require employee name, you don't require employee code also. Employee code also will be considered as a personal data for your kind information. You require only the pay what you are making the payment so that you can calculate the TDS. So anonymization says that you ask only that information what is required so that you are eliminating the provisions of DPDPA straight away. First thing. Second thing, there is a regulatory requirement saying that you need to maintain your records for 7 years, 10 years, all these things. So in that case, I have to retain because to whom you have served this address and all, you need to maintain. So there is this concept called pseudonymization. What it says is, you use alternative characters instead of A, Z, instead of 1, 0. Some kind of pseudonames you create as your library and start replacing them, then store it as a replaced format. Pseudonymization is also, pseudonyms is also personal data, but at least you are taking safeguards, reasonable safeguards, saying that the data is, even if someone breaches, it's not the straight data. So auditors require pseudonymization. Then the third one is called tokenization, where entities like Narayan Sir's Zoho and all, where they might be, I'm not sure, but at least banks, financial institutions or hospital, they'll be declared as a significant because they deal with sensitive data like patient records. Banks deal with financial. There they speak about tokenization, where they have to create a complete token system like we do hashing and all. No, it's complete token system, and the token has to be stored in a separate locker or safeguard kind of thing. So these three systems, pseudonymization, if you remember, any vendor agreements, what vendor agreements will have vendor name, certain details. So identify those personal things, try to give a pseudonames and then store. So come up with these kind of, and I'm saying we have very less time. 1 year is what we have by consent management system coming November 2026. Then May 2027 board is going to come. I'll give a simple example of one of our client requesting us to give a roadmap of implementation. On working out, it is a simple company which is around having 200 employees kind of thing. A roadmap has worked out to around 160 days to complete the data what was there earlier, all the vendors, employees and all, to implement. For one client it takes 160 days. Imagine for our own officers we have to take care first, then to the vendors, to the clients and all. So it's going to be huge Hercules task, but that's an opportunity also. As the challenge is there is a huge opportunities. Maybe over a period I'll also share those, the kind of opportunities what you have. But yes, this is what I thought I can add.
Perfect, Vijay sir. You talked about vault, you talked about the keepers of the vault, and it reminds me about a story. There was once a trusted vault keeper in a town. People deposited their golds, documents, and family belongings, not because the vault was strongest, but because the keeper was trusted. Just like you have a village near Sedi, which is known as a village without any lock and key, Sunny Singnapur. So it's about the trust which is important. And over time, the town changed. Gold turned into data, the keys turned into password, and the vault turned into servers and clouds. So one day a breach happened, and the keeper said, "I never stole anything." The town replied, "We didn't accuse you of stealing. We questioned your responsibility." And that day the keeper understood something very important. Trust is not about intent. It is about system, control, and accountability. And we, as a chartered accountant, are the keepers. Our clients, our society, our regulators, they trust us. And they should trust our system, control, and accountability. So friends, DPDP Act is a law about, it's not a law about technology. It is the law about trust. So as chartered accountant, we are no longer just auditors of numbers. We are now guardians of data. Not just compliance professionals, but trust architects. So whether we sit in practice or industry, The question is no longer, did you misuse the data? The question is, did you design system that deserve the trust? And that was the discussion which Vijay sir said. People talking about 180 days, 1 year, 1.5 year for complying with DPDP Act. And we, as a world keeper of the data of our clients, should start thinking that whether sooner or later the trust will be broken if we don't have the design, the system which should be required under the DPDP Act. And with this, we have the next question, and maybe a penultimate question for Narayanan sir. Many Indian SME use multiple disconnected tools. How can software companies help them transition to DPDP ready workflows, especially when AI features are introduced in those tools which are there? Like we have various accounting packages where we can link with the bank account and all the data are fetched and entries are happening automatically. Very soon, or maybe 5 years down the line, we'll have the blockchain technology which is there, and host-to-host accounting are there in various accounting package. So how the software companies are making sure and that DPDP is guided with them, and our CA firm using multiple tools, how they can inculcate the DPDP workflows in their office or how they can use it. Anand sir.
So before answering that question, I would like to, this question is to the audience. How many of you have leveraged the use of technology into your practice? Just
No one?
raise your hands. Just raise your hand. Or are you, how many of you, see, I will ask you a different question. How many of you are running paperless practice? No. At least 50%? 25%? Okay. Let us assume that it is 0%. Now, we are always talking about outsourcing industry. You know something, I have traveled across India, and I know little bit about market outside also, like entire Middle East, Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines and all. There is one thing which everyone will say. Indian chartered accountants are intelligent and brilliant chartered accountants across accountants available in the world. So that is a fact, because this is the toughest cost that we are clearing and becoming a CA. Even my aspirations was to become a chartered accountant, but unfortunately those days I was very playful, and I could not even clear the basic foundation, and after subsequent to foundation there was an examination in 80s. So I couldn't clear that. Such a solid profession in your hand, the most respected profession. You come to Zoho, I will say the kind of respect we give to the institute and the chartered accountant members are immense. I have never seen in my career in the past. And that kind of respect you command, and you say that I don't even have 25% of execution as far as the automation is concerned. You have to think yourself, this industry is going to grow, and it is not that how I am going to manage my client. You come out of that, this thing. You have to start thinking how the clients outside my country are going to look at me. So this DPDP Act is applicable not only for the chartered accountants who are practicing in India. When a client is approaching you to hire you as a consultant, they will also look at whether you have completely thoroughly adhered to all these things using technology. Every day I get minimum 5 calls in my mobile asking, sir, can you suggest a tech-savvy chartered accountant? So unfortunately, with lot of pain in my heart, I could say the exit November, the number of chartered accountants in India are 485,000. But if you look at tech-savvy chartered accountants, it's not even 0.5% of the total. There are various reasons to it, but you self-evaluate your strength. Start working on it. Even I am also an outsider to technology. When I joined this office, I used to bring in notepads, diaries, all those things. And the young generation no, of 20s and 24 used to laugh at me. Then some people will come, KPN, don't come like this, I will teach you. So 24-year-old new employee will teach a 54-year-old executive how to use technology. So that is something which we have to come out. 72 million SME registration is there in India, 72 million. And if you ask me, is there a right accountants to manage them, then my answer will be no. No one is ready. There could be multiple reasons behind it. Multiple reasons. So here what is happening is, the first thing, you should avoid using multi-vendor solution. For accounting, you hire one vendor. For payroll, you hire another vendor. For CRM, you hire another vendor. So don't engage multiple vendors. Engaging multiple vendor in the sense, the potential risk of sharing all this data outside is more, because the same data you have to share with all the vendors. So have a single vendor, you have everything integrated between themselves, so that you feed only the necessary relevant data to one person, and that data is safe. So that is what the answer for your question.
Perfect, Nayanand sir. And but we can, as a chartered accountant, we can just boost you that we will be having very soon lots of tech-savvy CAs from East, at least I can say, with such programs being organized by ICAI, AI and ICAI, along with our division EIRC. And if you see 50, 60, 100, 200 chartered accountants also coming over here and talking about DPDP Act, talking about AI, talking about vibe coding. So I think things are changing, Nayanand sir. And today you said about 5% of the chartered accountant. Maybe next time you'll come and say 50% of chartered accountants of East India at least are tech savvy. That's for guarantee.
And any help from, I endorse it, any help from our side as an institution, whether you require any training or something like that, reach out to your chairman. We are always happy to extend that kind of training for you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. And Vijay sir, we have lots of auditors over here who are doing audit day in, day out, whether assurance, whether internal audit, whether doing forensic professionals. And when you are doing forensic professional, earlier we used to say we are doing sampling. But now with the amount of data which is there and the technology which is there, the quantum of data has arisen and the sampling has gone for a toss. And now we talk about complete analytics of the data when you are doing assurance also. So what changes do CA firm need to make in audit documentation, working paper management, and client communication, which is very important, to align with the principles of data minimization and purpose limitation in compliance with DPDP Act? Over to Vijay sir.
Yeah. See, data minimization in the sense, you ask data which is required. Okay, so you are minimizing, let's say, as I said, payroll, I don't require name, I don't require mobile, I just need a pay. For filing a return, I need a PAN. Of course, for that probably I'll go pseudonymization. Rest of all I can get that. Unless he's sharing a bank statement, there also I don't require the headers. Just give me the transaction, that's enough for me. Okay, so you're minimizing the data, what is required for you to perform an audit, first thing. Now to connect with this particular theme of these 2 days, AI, I'll share one insight which you can probably make use of course, keeping the DPDP apart for a while. As I was mentioning about various tools available for 1 year free, ChatGPT Go or whatever it may be. So what we follow in our office, probably I can share. I will create a custom GPT, okay, which will be my audit assistant. I'll share my past audit templates while removing all the relevant information and only the audit procedures, templates of audit, what audit memos I've issued, what notes I've carried. I keep uploading to this custom GPT and I'll design a proper prompt saying that whenever I give certain information to you, you analyze based on the templates what I provide and provide me with a reference number, a documentation as per SA 500 or SA 230 or SA 700 if in case I'm generating a report. All these I train a custom GPT. So first thing, I'm minimizing whatever is required. I mean, if I'm sharing a bank statement, I'll share only the financial figures with the ledger codes, not the ledger names also. It will understand, okay, this ledger code to this ledger code, it's a current asset. This ledger code to this ledger, it's a direct expenses. Using that, it will analyze that and makes the percentage of ratios, and then based on the templates what I've given earlier, it will create a documentation. That means by the end of the day, the audit is being taken care, the documentation is being taken care, and the SA 520 analytical aspect also being taken care with the help of AI. So being an AI, I thought I can connect with, but overall, the only point you need to keep in mind is the data minimization means ask that data what is relevant, maintain that data what is relevant. Income tax return, is it mandatory for you to retain with you for 7 years? No, it's a client's headache. Audit, it is required under Companies Act or PMLA, whatever it may be. But income tax return, you don't require. Once you file the return, it's a client's headache. Why you should retain that particular thing? It's unnecessarily bringing on the headache, is it not? So this is what data minimization. This culture we need to inculcate in our practices right from now, so that by the time November 2026 comes, we are full to, because one aspect is preparing yourself, and your clients will keep coming from tomorrow onwards asking that, what I should be doing with this? Unless you are practically using, how you can advise your clients, is it not? So that is what probably, good that EIRC and all the ICAI committees are taking up this, and more so will be probably coming up. So you need to keep your eyes pretty open when it comes to DPDPA, because it's not about penalties. It's beyond that, lot many reputation. You might be losing clients also, saying that, okay, because of this, okay, some notice comes from DPDPA, that's a trust issue, and you might be losing your reputation straight away. So that's what I thought I can add from my side. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Vijay sir. And Noyanand sir, in brief, can you just also say about something about data guardians? Who are the data guardians? And give your closing remarks on this panel discussion of DPDP. What are the key takeaways you feel from a SaaS executive point of view that our members and in practice all industry should take away from this discussion?
Okay, thanks for that question. So at Zoho, in our company, I can say, because since I represent one SaaS company, I would like to share the best practices that we have with us. One is that we actually follow 3 layers of security and privacy policy. One is philosophy, the second one is product, and the third one is practice as a product leader. Philosophy is what I was talking about. We don't sell data. That is the first philosophy which we should have. So when you are subscribing or for any applications in the SaaS platform, or when you are adopting any technology for your firm or your client's place, first you should check whether this data is getting sold outside. So that is something which you need to check. And the second one is product. Our policy is like product, even when it comes to implementation of AI in our product, the product privacy is first. Privacy first AI, that's what I will say. Which means any potential leakage of data has to be arrested. So that is the second one. And we don't do advertisement. So pick up these things, and whenever you are going to subscribe for an application, I am not talking about Zoho, any applications that is available in the market, you evaluate all these things before you subscribe. Read the terms and conditions very, very clearly. So this is the first, the 3 things which I would like to, ask you to follow. And in conclude, you don't have to worry about DPDP Act at all. We just have to see, are we compliant to this? Are we following these rules? Like, I would like to endorse what Vijay mentioned now, the reputation. I would like to connect this with my previous statement. I was talking about outsourcing industry and how clients outside India are looking at you. On one side, abhi tak ka impression, it is going to be there forever. our accountants, or I don't want to call it accountants, just accountants, our professionals or consultants are excellent and brilliant chartered accountants, I am telling you. So it's our duty that we are compliant to all these things and do not take things for granted. Even now we are using a common platform to share informations, share even documents. Just put it in the chat, send the document, put it in the link, send the link to the receiver. So this is what we do. We have to have our own applications which will work within our organization. Even for internal communication, communicating within the team and communicating outside the organization. These things we have to understand and start adopting this. So Baki sab, just follow the rules. It is easy only, it is not going to be that great difficult.
Break. So with that, 1 minute summary or wrap up from your end, sir, before we take 1 or 2 questions from audience.
I would rather see, personally, I feel this is a cultural shift what we are going to have through DPDPA. How feel you will save when no one calls you with regard to promoting some credit cards and all? How feel your children will feel when their photos are not displayed as first ranker, second ranker, or no targeting advertisement about children? Okay, so we'll feel so more liberal in terms of way I am sharing my data elsewhere. I will not be worried about. This is where the cultural shift, and that's where Narayanan sir is connecting. The trust what you are going to get by complying with this will attract GCCs, SSCs from global, where you will be getting more and more works, because that's the only thing which is barring the Western people coming over here. Now this act will be creating that trust, where those barriers will be, trust issues will be settled, and you'll get more and more opportunities. So kindly take it as a cultural shift. Try to adopt first yourself, then try to pass it on to the training your clients and all, so that over a period we'll see many offers coming in, not directly from DPDPA, from other aspects also, being a custodians of the client data and whatever it is.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Over to Mayur for any questions from audience.
Thank you so much, Vivek ji. We can take 1 or 2 questions from audience if we have. Kindly hand over the mic, Abhishek.
Yeah, thank you. So this is regarding, like, all CA firms or all practitioners generally keep their clients' data on the cloud, or maybe using third-party applications, like without the knowledge of the client. So shall we take, and if any leakage or data breach is happening from the third-party softwares or the third-party site, which even the client doesn't know, or even as a practitioner we also don't know. So while putting any data on any third-party application, if we take a consent while the engagement is on, will it protect us, or whether we'll still be liable for the breaches over there?
See, there we are trying to compare with the NDAs, non-disclosure. NDA is nowhere in this picture. Even if the client gives a consent, certain provisions barring to go any such kind of activity. This is pretty clear. It is protecting the Article 21 fundamental rights of your constitution. So even if you have taken a consent, still you will be liable, because the act forbids that kind of things. The only way is, as I said, data minimization. If I take, say, practical, what will be the next step? Now that you have 12 months, November 2026, the consent manager will come. Consent manager is nothing but it's a company which will be registered with the ministry through DPBI. It should be digital platform with the security protocols and all. Now once this comes, from that day onwards, whatever client data you have to erase unless there is a legal requirement to retain, with an intimation to the client through consent manager saying your data is with me, as per regulatory it's not required, I am erasing this through consent. So this is the first job what we will be playing by next year, wherein past data will be completely cleaned from your systems. So there, when you are saying that even consent given, it is barring certain things to retain, unless you have, once the process, as I said, simple question, once the ITR is filed, why I should require data? Once the analytics has been done in a forensic, why I require data? Only analytics, that too infographic kind of thing. I don't require the actual data unless judiciary questions something. So these are the things what we need to address.
Basically my question was, while third party is storing, even if we are deleting from our end, but the third party may retain that data.
See,
So,
ultimately, most of the third parties for us is Tally, Genius,
Yeah, yeah.
Winman. These are the third parties
Yeah,
for
yeah.
us. That means they are all
perfect
data process.
example is like ClearTex is exiting the market.
Exactly.
And they are now tying up with different
So these are all
vendors.
data processors
Yeah.
on behalf, we are uploaded on behalf of the, so these are, our responsibility is to take the similar declaration what we give to the client saying that you have erased all the data. I need to request that, get that, upload from my side to the consent manager. It's our responsibility. Wherever data is there, you need to make a list of that. You need to take an inventory of all the software so far you have used, communicate with them saying if any our data is there, check and communicate back saying the data has been erased, and then I'll upload this to consent as a data processor of a client. So you can imagine the chain of, the supply chain of data, what it involves, the kind of responsibilities what we have to take care.
Great, great, Vijay ji. Any other question? So we can conclude.
Hello. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. A solid discussion on the emerging area of practice as well as emerging area of concern, which is the DPDP Act. I think for those who were knowing it, I think this discussion has bring in more clarity, and for those for whom this was a new term or who has come to know about this act for the first time, I think this has given a roadmap, and then further research from your end will help us maybe from protecting the data and from protecting ourselves, because at the inception the moderator Vivek ji has announced that the penalty goes up to 250 crores to even an individual who is breaching the DPDP Act. So on that note, our hearty gratitude and our thanks to the moderators here, Vivek Agarwal and both the panelists. Thank you for taking out your time and taking us, each one of us, through this very, very important act. Kindly give a huge round of applause for each one of them. Friends, we are having two more sessions coming up, very important. One is AI in accounting, and we have none other than Mr. Tuhin Sen Gupta, who is lead architect AI in Tally Solutions. And then we are having a very good discussion on My Data, My Rules. These are the two more sessions coming up. Parallel sessions we have already announced are going on. Tomorrow's session, friends, will be posting in the groups as well. We have already posted, we'll be posting that along with the timeline. I would also like to announce that, friends, Mr. Babul Supriyo, Minister of Information Technology of Government of West Bengal, will be joining us tomorrow at around 11:30. He'll be addressing us. He will also be taking us through all the new policies which the Government of West Bengal is bringing in and implementing in the state of West Bengal. So those of you interested, kindly join. Tomorrow also we'll be starting sharp at 10:30. Over to Hariramji for taking up the session further.